Reddit's story in the AI era has always been compelling. It's a social platform with a hidden edge, a giant archive of human-generated content that big tech companies and AI developers want to access. That narrative helped fuel a massive surge in the stock price, taking Reddit from a mixed reception at its IPO to more than doubling in just a few months. But now there's growing chatter that the data licensing promise might not be as ironclad as everyone thought. Is the story overhyped, or is this just a pause before the next phase? The original thesis was simple. AI developers need high-quality, context-rich text data, especially conversations about real products, real experiences, and weird edge cases. Reddit's communities provide exactly that. Licensing agreements with big names gave credibility to the idea that Reddit's content could become a whole new revenue stream. It positioned the company not just as a forum but as a data company in the making. That perception powered a premium valuation and strong institutional interest. Recently, though, reports have emerged suggesting that large language models may be citing Reddit content less frequently and that referral traffic from AI systems might be softening. There's even been talk of declines in daily active users and lower engagement metrics, which are red flags for the freshness and value of Reddit's data pipeline. If the platform's content is being referenced less or the quality of the conversation is slipping, that undermines part of the narrative that Reddit has a unique moat in the AI economy. There are a few possible reasons for this shift. One is that AI tools are evolving. As retrieval systems mature, they may be changing which sources they prioritize, pulling more from curated or authoritative content, or adjusting their algorithms to filter noise differently. In that case, the decline in citations might say more about algorithmic tweaks than about Reddit itself. Another possibility is that this is cyclical. AI developers could be rotating sources or testing different weighting methods. Or the way they credit and retrieve information may have changed, de-emphasizing direct quotations even if Reddit's content still underpins training data. Of course, there's also the hard reality that if communities are experiencing lower engagement or fewer posts and comments, then the richness of Reddit's data stream could be weakening, making it less attractive for licensing. On the optimistic side, licensing is still viable and potentially high margin. Even though it's a small slice of Reddit's revenue today, the content is already produced and the incremental cost of selling access is low. If Reddit can negotiate usage-based or dynamic licensing terms, it could extract more value over time. There are also reports of ongoing talks to restructure or expand licensing deals with the major players, shifting away from flat fees to more integrated partnerships. If that materializes, it shows Reddit still sees its data as a premium asset. The depth of Reddit's archive also shouldn't be underestimated. Few platforms have such a large, long-running history of conversations on niche topics, edge cases, and real-world problems. That's hard to replicate from scratch, especially with moderation and context. Even if citation patterns shift temporarily, the underlying reservoir remains unique. Reddit has also become more aggressive about protecting its content. The company has taken legal action against firms accused of scraping without permission, which signals that it's serious about defending the licensing business. That kind of control could deter freeloading and reinforce the value of official deals. And, of course, the demand for high-quality data for AI models isn't going backward. The race to build smarter, more accurate systems is still accelerating. If Reddit can maintain or regain its relevance in that ecosystem, its data business could still be a powerful long-term differentiator. But the risks are real. Reddit's valuation has run ahead of certainty. The price incorporates high expectations for licensing and AI. If those expectations prove too optimistic, the downside could be sharp. If AI systems really are citing Reddit less, that weakens the visible influence of its data and could reduce referral traffic back to the platform. Regulatory risk is also hanging over the story. The company has disclosed that regulators are scrutinizing its licensing practices, and future restrictions, compliance costs, or rule changes could limit how it monetizes content. Then there's competition. Google, Meta, and Microsoft all have massive datasets and the ability to incorporate community content themselves. They may undercut Reddit's role as an external data provider. And finally, there's the execution question. Licensing alone isn't enough. Reddit has to maintain growth in engagement, thread quality, moderation, and user sentiment. If users start to feel the platform is more about monetization than community, participation could suffer. What should investors watch now? One big thing is tracking how often Reddit shows up in AI outputs. Another is new licensing deal announcements. Any fresh contracts, extensions, or usage-based models with the big names would be a major catalyst. User engagement metrics are also critical: daily active users, post growth, retention. Regulatory updates matter too. And, of course, the next earnings call will be key for seeing how management frames licensing growth and margin expectations. Taking all of this together, Reddit still has a shot at delivering on its data licensing promise, but it's no longer a low-risk bet. The data moat thesis is being tested. This is a moment that demands realism and vigilance from investors. The optimistic view is that Reddit adapts, pivots to usage-based licensing, stays vigilant legally, and keeps its community strong. If it does that, the licensing business can still justify the optimism baked into the stock. The cautious view is that if Reddit rests on past narratives and fails to weather this moment of skepticism, the overhang could lead to volatility or a re-rating of the stock. In other words, Reddit's licensing story isn't dead, it's just at an inflection point. Investors need to separate the noise from the signal, recognize both the opportunity and the risks, and decide whether they believe Reddit can execute on its long-term vision. This isn't about hype or panic. It's about measuring whether the fundamentals are keeping pace with the stock price and whether the company can convert its unique content into sustainable revenue streams. For those who believe Reddit will succeed, the current skepticism might even be a chance to enter or add at a discount. For those who doubt, it's a reminder to manage risk and not get caught up in narratives without proof. So what do you think? Is Reddit's data moat still strong, or is the market waking up to a new reality? Share your thoughts and your own price targets below.